Now as we get started with the course here, there is one more thing that I want to show you. It's a really neat feature of Visual C++ 2010 Express, and that is this thing about code snippets. Now what I'm going to do is open a project that you don't have yet, because I've already built this thing but you haven't seen it yet. You'll see it later on in the course. It's called Interesting Scope. But when you open this up, you'll see there's a lot of code here, and it's a trick that you can use anytime you're going to be using code over and over and over, and it's something called code snippets. Now some of you probably already have seen these, like in VisualBasic.net or C# programming, but since we're working in console apps here, and when you're working in C++, you may not think about using this, but you can still use these code snippets just the way you did in other languages and in other environments. So what I want to show you is, let's say that we want to copy this particular line over and over and over. Well, we could certainly come up here and, Control C and then come down here and paste it somewhere. But there's another easier way to do code snippets like that, and that is to use the toolbox. Now the toolbox is not owned by default in certain projects, and it's not going to be owned by default in these console applications, because you don't drag buttons and those kinds of things, labels, text boxes on in a console app. But I want to show you how to turn it on. If you go up here to View and you'll come down to Other Windows, you will see Toolbox right here. Now if you can remember it, that's Control-Alt-X. For the life of me, I can't remember that stuff, so just click Toolbox and open Toolbox. Alright, now let me delete this one, alright, so they don't confuse you. But let's say that this particular line right here we want to use over and over and over in our code. Alright, this is not a really good candidate, but just go with me here for the demonstration. Alright, if I highlight it, left click it, and drag it into the toolbox and let it go, notice it put it there. Okay, so then I can jump down here and I can get into this particular function, and all I have to do is left click on this, drag it back down and let it go, and it will put it there. Alright, if I want to put it somewhere else in here, I just drag it down, let it go. Alright, and it'll just keep on working as long as I want to. And then I can grab something else, and I'll show you this too. This is kind of neat. I can grab an entire function, drag it into here and let it go, and then if I ever want to recreate that, drag it, let it go, boom, there it is. Alright, so code snippets let you grab code and move it. So if you ever find yourself needing to move code, especially between modules here, then just highlight what you want to move, drag it over here, open the new module. For example, I could go in here and add a new module, and I'll just call this test. So I add that in and I open test, there it is, and I can just drag this in, and just like that I've got that code in test. Okay, really neat stuff, a cool little trick you need to see. And if you're working on a big project where you're moving a lot of code around, writing a lot of code in different places, this is a neat tool to know.